Hello and welcome to another episode of What's She Getting Rid of Today? With your host, Nicole Gruder. So the thing that I'm getting rid of today is, the thing itself is kind of old. I personally have only owned it for like 10-ish years. It was found on the streets of New Orleans. So let your imagination run wild with that one. You know it's sanitary, right? Yeah, I mean, the things that are found on the streets of New Orleans, I mean, I'm sure there's a blog or a coffee table book written somewhere about it, or maybe it's just all left to the recesses of our memories. What is it that I'm getting rid of? I am getting rid of, dun, 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 dun. Oh, you can see what I pulled this out of the vault this morning, darling. It's what a weird angle. Proportions or perspective. That's what it is. Perspective. Oh, that looks really weird. Okay, back to the matter at hand. What am I getting rid of? I am getting rid of, you'll never guess, a crock pot. a crock pot. Oh, I love like speaking into these vessels that I'm getting rid of because the acoustics are fabulous. But I really have no intention of keeping this, and regardless of the acoustical abilities. Yeah, we'll say that's a word. Acoustical. So this has a bit of a story. There was a fellow who, okay, so back up. I was working at a place called The John in New Orleans, and it's a toilet-themed bar, kind of. Like you walk in, and there's 4 toilets that are spray-painted gold, and that's the extent of the theme. And the name, of course. It's a 24-hour bar, at least it used to be. I think they went back up to 24 hours. Not quite sure on that. At any rate, I worked there for quite some time. It was a great place to work, great regulars, one of whom, their name was Jim. And he would come in. He was an older gentleman, lived in the neighborhood, and he would bring me food on my shifts. I worked there Sundays and Monday nights from 4 p.m. to midnight, and then the midnight bartender would come on and work until 8 in the morning. Can you imagine? And he was just the sweetest, really interesting guy, and he was a really good cook and would just bring me these nutritious meals that he knew us bartenders were not making for ourselves by and large. And I'm trying to remember what he used to drink. Kind of shocking that I don't remember. Those are the things that I like. If I don't know your name, I'll remember what you drink. It's a weird bartender thing. Anyhow, so he found this on the curb somewhere, and he gave it to me. He said, could you use a crock pot? I was like, sure, that'd be great. It did not have a lid, however. But as the universe provides, a pan that I had, and this is the lid to it, fit perfectly on top. Like, it was meant to be. So I have been using this crock pot for years. But you know, I get a little paranoid about old appliances like this with the cords and the heat and the whatever. So, and it does get pretty hot on the bottom. Maybe regular ones do too. I haven't tested my new one. Yes, I got a new one. And so I just thought, you know what? I think it's time to let it go. Time to move on. You get a new one. A new one came into my life, so I thought I would get rid of this one. And Jim, by the way, one of my favorite stories is when he came to the bar and we were watching. It was pretty dead always at about 4 p.m. Not later though, that's for sure. Anyway, we were watching TV, and I point up here because it was up above our heads, and we were watching some program about like deep sea diving or, you know, the ocean or something like that. And I said to him, because, you know, you're down in New Orleans, I thought, well, maybe he's done some work like this, forgetting that that's like what he did for a living or for his career. And I said, Jim, have you ever done diving like that? And he just looks at me, gets up and walks away. And I thought, well, I don't know if I offended him or what happened there. I didn't know what, an odd duck. So I just thought, whatever, see you later. He comes back about 10 minutes later with this gigantic diving helmet. Like, I'm talking the old school, maybe they're the same school now, I don't know, but one of those big, huge metal helmets with the cage that like opens up, you know, here. And it was, you know, like the kind that you see on well, what I equate to, some sort of Star Trek episode or something, or like a what is it called? Twilight Zone episode or something, from another era. It was nuts looking. He puts it down on the bar and he says to me, "I used to dive in this." And I just was like, "Well, I guess you know a thing or two about diving." I tried to lift the thing. It was so heavy. I can't remember what kind of metal it's made out of, but it was crazy. I understand once you're in the water that, it evens itself out or whatever you say. But it was super impressive and it was very interesting. I learned something very interesting about him. I'm not being very articulate this afternoon. You'll have to bear with me. Anyhow, I've made many a wonderful meal in this. I'm learning to cook more and more in crock pot. So this was, the stepping stone, or not even. I used it in earnest for a while. I just would sometimes forget about it for a year or a season. And in Wisconsin, there's like crock pot season. Some people use it year round. I don't really. I don't know what else to say about this. This style, it probably harkens back some memories for some people. My mother never cooked with a crock pot, so I don't have any crock pot memories other than the ones from Jim, who, by the way, has since passed. He passed, I think, last year or the year before. So yeah, he was great. And he would dress up at Halloween in these weird costumes. Weird, but so simple and effective. Like he would have this, he would take a ping pong ball and you cut it in half and they would draw an eyeball on it and he would just stick it in his eye socket and he would just sit there with it. And it was so creepy. It was wonderful. Anyway, rest in peace, Jim. You were great. Thanks for feeding me. Thanks for the crock pot. And we're going to, I think I'm going to electronically recycle this because I don't think I could really donate it and have it be resold. So this can get electronically recycled, or in the recycling, rather, regular recycling. They'll just take the metal and whatnot. And then the rest, this I'll keep, of course. I'll still have the pot that it goes to. And it's my new beret. And yeah, thank you for your service. You were a great crockpot and with good memories. So I bid you adieu and tune in next time to another episode of What's She Getting? Well, I usually like throw it into the garbage, but I'm not going to do that. I'll place it in the recycling. Okay, sorry. I was about to say, what was she about to say? Boop, boop. Tune in next time for another episode of What's She Getting Rid of Today? Ta-da! Boop!